Hello YouTube. I'm here, Walter Ford, about to do another biography. This is on Bessie Coleman, someone you need to know. This is a picture of her, by the way. Very pretty lady.
Like me.
Bessie Coleman was the first African-American pilot in the world. She was part Native American, Cherokee, and African-American. She was born in Atlanta, Texas on January 26, 1892. She was the 10th of 13 children of George Coleman, who was part Cherokee and African-American, and Susan Coleman, her mother, who was of African-American descent. In 1916, at the age of 23, she moved to Chicago, Illinois, where she lived with her brothers. She worked as a manicurist. There she heard stories from pilots who had returned home from World War I about flying, which made her dream of one day flying herself. This dream to fly was so heavy on her heart, she took a second job to earn money to become a pilot. But no American flight school would admit women nor blacks. This was when Robert S. Albert, founder and publisher of the Chicago Defender, encouraged her to study overseas, where attitudes toward people of color was more tolerant and open-minded. So off to France she went. Before she left, she took a French language class. Then she traveled to Paris, France in 1920 to earn her pilot's license. She learned to fly a Newport 82 biplane. She earned her license on June 15th, 1921. This making her the first woman of African and Native American descent to earn a pilot's license, and the first to earn an international aviation license. But she was not through. She took lessons from a French ace pilot for 2 months in 1921. She became a media sensation when she returned back to the U.S. With commercial air flight still over a decade or more away, Bessie knew to become a civilian aviator, she would have to become a barn-storming stunt flyer and perform for paying audience. To do this, she knew she needed advanced lessons, but no one in America would teach her. So back to France she went. She trained for 2 months. Then she was ready. She then returned to the U.S. to launch her career as an exhibition flyer. When she flew, she was bad, which means good. I mean good. She was so popular that for the next 5 years, her shows were sold out. She was interviewed by the newspapers of that time, and both black and whites loved her shows, and they loved her. She did so many daredevil maneuvers that it could take your breath away. Fear was not a part of her vocabulary. She never lost sight of her childhood vow to amount to something. She did many stunts that even men stunt flyers of that time wouldn't try. She was called Queen Bess by the media. Bessie Coleman's dream was to establish a school for young black aviators. But unfortunately, she would not live to see that dream come true. On April 30th, 1926, Coleman was in Jacksonville, Florida, to perform one of her amazing stunts. Her mechanic and publicity agent flew the plane she was to perform in from Dallas, Texas. He had to make 3 forced landings along the way because the plane was poorly maintained. When her friends and family learned of this, they pleaded with Bessie not to fly and do her stunts. She decided to fly anyway. She was planning on doing a parachute jump from the plane and was checking out the site near where she would make the jump. In the process, she had not buckled up her seatbelt. All of a sudden, the plane went into a dive and then a spin. Bessie was thrown from the plane. From 2,000 feet, she plummeted. She died on impact, and she was only 34 years old. The pilot that she was flying with her, the plane eventually crashed, and he was killed as well. Bessie Coleman was a very special lady who contributed so much to the early days of flying. Check her out, look her up. She's someone to be remembered. I hope you like the story on Bessie Coleman, a very special woman. Like I said, who contributed so much to the early days of flying and did so many things that, like I said, so many people would have been afraid to do. But she felt in the heart she had to do. She did it for herself, and she did it for her people to make a way. Thank you, and I'll see you the next time. Balled out. Till then, till next time. Bye now.